Hey guys, welcome back as always. My name is Lazar, and week 5 will feature the amazing Soma Prime, probably to Incarnon. And we already know that that one is going to be probably transformed into a shotgun. If you want more details on that, there's going to be a link in the upper right portion of the screen right about now. But for now, let's take a look at the Burston. The Burston is a rifle that nobody uses anymore, and thankfully it does have a Prime variant. This is datamined information. Please do not treat it as final product. These probably will change, and there's also a chance they are completely wrong. So bear that one in mind. First up, we are getting a small bump in accuracy from 25 to 28.6, but more importantly, the critical stats are a lot better. The normal version of the Burston Prime has 18% critical chance. This one is going to have 28% critical chance. Not only that, the critical multiplier went from 1.8 to 3.0, so it's already juicy. The fire rate from 9.38, and it was a Burston, so it was kind of like semi-automatic, only not really semi-automatic. Fire rate goes up to 20, more than double the fire rate. Magazine of 45. These are iffy when it comes to stats like this, so I'll just wait for the weapon to fully judge. It says infinite on the reserve, but that can't be right. Can it? Unless... Wait, did they make it a self-recharge weapon? They could have made it a self-recharge weapon. That would actually be cool. Noise alarming, reload on 2 seconds, we don't care, because in Incarnon form, the magazine that you have there is treated as a charge, and you need to charge it in its normal form, normally by headshots. Only the turret can do body shots, and it's pretty easy to get headshots with a Burston if you can, you know, somewhat aim at least. Riven disposition 1.35, huge Riven disposition for this one. If you haven't got a Burston Riven just yet, I would still get it if they're still cheap. I mean, I would pay 100, maybe even 150, but no more than that. And then it turns out it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game, and you would have paid more. Potato patata. Status chance of 30%, this one has not changed, but more importantly, you got yourself trigger automatic. Again, the normal version has a burst trigger. This one will be going full-blown automatic, and I can't wait to see how it will handle. Because you see, you don't have stats for recoil or weird animations or whatever else they might implement into these weapons. But we do know it's gonna be exclusively heat damage. Heat damage again. Guys, come on, learn new tricks. Didn't we have enough heat damage? Apparently every single goddamn AoE weapon has to have heat damage on it. And don't get me wrong, heat is good in Warframe, but we're bored by this point. There's too much heat in Warframe. You got 2 damage instances, 13 and 13. Now the total damage will be totaling 26. The old one had 46, but the old one has impact puncture slash. That's what you get in the normal version, totaling 46 damage. You have your damage and you have your radial attack, so we know it's gonna be an explosion on this one. Heat with heat, so essentially it's the projectile making contact with a target, and then you have the explosion. As for the range of the actual explosion, now this is still data mine information, but they would claim it's 2 meters with a drop off of 100%. That can't be right. Hopefully that is not right. So there you go, the range will probably be 2 meters. It's looking like something similar to the Breton. If you saw my Incarnon Breton review, that is an amazing, absolutely amazing weapon right now. Look at the cards right now for a full and detailed guide on it. It's one of the best primaries you can get. It just shreds everything. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking they did something similar as they did with the Breton. A small explosion, but hits can attack. So essentially you're just gonna nuke everything that you manage to hit, that is. Now about those talents, first option at tier 1, X multi-shot per last burst in mag. But last burst? Last burst, obviously a burst. So probably the last shot in your magazine is gonna give you some multi-shot. Usually this only applies to the normal form, not the Incarnon form. Punch through armor above X, that's interesting to me. The thing about punch through, it can be amazing if you got a clump up ability, something like a Vauban Nidus, etc. But it can also be entirely worthless depending on the situation. We're gonna have to test and see. Next option at tier 2, magazine size or clip size. Nothing exciting there. Reload from empty increases reload speed. This is useful if you want to increase the speed of your transformation. And the last one, recoil. The Burston kicks like a mule. And normally these recoil talents not only affect the normal form, but the Incarnon form of weapons as well. So I'm thinking this one might be a contender for best in slot. Finally, tier 3, should be the most powerful tier, but also tier 2 is actually quite powerful, which in this case is tier 1, because the actual tier 1 just enables the transformation. First option, damage increased by X% for each full burst that hits, resets on reload. and we know we're getting an automatic trigger in the Incarnon form, so I'm left to assume that this one will be applying to the normal form, and I'm starting to think that they might want us to Felarx this one. In the case of the Felarx, we don't really use that weapon in its evolved form, simply because it's weaker than its normal form. The Felarx is an amazing weapon, absolutely godlike, but you gotta keep it in its normal form. And I know you're curious, look at the cards right now for the Felarx, sure, why not? High critical chance, yay, and damage per status on target, so a condition overload-like effect. We already have one for primary weapons. More than likely, we might end up going for crit and munitions, but of course, at this point, that is just a guess. The talents look good, but there's nothing overly exciting on this one, sadly. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. If you want to see another one of these upcoming stat things for weapons which are Incarnon, link in the cards right now. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.